Check this out. In front of me right now on this bench, we have the internal components of a 5-speed manual transmission. I'm going to create a 3-video series on this specific transmission. In part 1 of that series, we're going to talk about power flow. So which direction the power from the engine comes into the transmission, which gears that it flows through to give you that first gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear, R for race mode. Which gears are going to be engaged in that power flow so that we can then calculate the ratio of those gears so that we can determine what our torque multiplication or speed multiplication is going to be. And then video 3, we're going to take this thing further apart and try to figure out what all the different little bits of the transmission actually do for us. So stay tuned for that. Check this out. This is the inside of a 5-speed manual transmission. And today we are going to cover gear ratios and power flows. In another video, I will cover some of the different parts and bits and bobs and components of this and explain how the synchronizers work and the shift forks and all that good stuff. But for today, to kind of keep things on track, we're just going to look at how the power flows through the transmission and how to calculate the gear ratios of that power flow. So, what do we have? What are the important bits for what we need to know right now? Well, this, as so aptly is labeled, is my input shaft. So the power will flow in through the input shaft. It will then flow down into the counter shaft. I'll show you in a minute, but the input shaft is actually a separate piece from this side. So this is all on one shaft, this is on one shaft, and this is on one shaft. So engine right here inputs power through the clutch to the input shaft, down through the counter shaft, and then through your counter shaft, depending on what gear you have selected. The power flow will go back to the output shaft, which is also sometimes known as the main shaft, and flow out of your transmission, down your drive shaft, and into the differential, and to the wheels, and makes the car go vroom. So that's a bit of a lie. That's more your super awesome, wicked one-wheel peel squeals. I've got this wired together. We are currently looking at it from the right side or the passenger side of the vehicle. So let's do our power flows first. This is a 5-speed transmission, and it has a reverse. So that's almost essentially like you have 6 separate speeds. So where does the power go? Remember, a key point for this is understanding that your input shaft is a separate shaft from the output. So pretty well every gear, your power flow is going to come in through the input, down through the counter shaft, and then back up to the output, except for direct drive. What is direct drive? Direct drive is when you have a 1-to-1 ratio. You have whatever is being input to the transmission is being directly output, and it does not need the counter shaft. In this particular model, 1-to-1 is 4th gear. Some models of 5 speeds have a 1-to-1 ratio in 3rd gear and you have a double overdrive. Sometimes your 6 speeds, 4th will be direct, 5th will be direct. Every transmission is a little bit different. Anyhow, for today's purposes, 4th gear is direct, and then we have a single overdrive. What is underdrive? What is overdrive? Underdrive, gears 1, 2, and 3, and reverse will give you a multiplication of torque, but it will lower the speed of the output. And then your overdrives are the opposite. They're expressed as a ratio like 0.8 to 1, and that will give you more speed but less torque. You want torque for taking off, you want speed for cruising down the highway. And of course, 1-to-1, 1000 RPM in, 1000 RPM out. So let's start with 1st gear. Input shaft, we have our power flow comes in, and it runs through our counter shaft. So we will need to know the ratio of these 2 gears. And then 1st gear is, as I said, a torque multiplication. So what gives you torque multiplication? Having a little gear turn a large gear. So every time that little gear turns once, the large gear only turns a bit. So the little gear has to turn multiple times to turn our large gear. And that gives us a reduction of speed, but it gives you a lot more torque, a lot more oomph. So to figure out which gear is first, which gear is 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, reverse, all that good stuff, we can do that pretty accurately, even if we were not familiar with the transmission, by looking at, is it a little gear and is it turning a large gear? So in this case, the smallest gear, I have this one right here, and then I have another small gear on the counter shaft here that you can't really see very well behind the idler gear. How do you know which one's reverse and which one is forward? Because they have a very similar gear ratio. Sometimes they're even the same. The job of forward, the job of reverse is to get the vehicle moving from a stop. When you jam that shifter down into R when you're on the highway, R is not for race mode. Just trust me on that. How you know that it's reverse? Typically, reverse will be straight cut gears. These are all helical though, so this one you can go 50 kilometers an hour in reverse and your engine may be screaming, transmission will be quiet. However, if you had straight cut gears, they're very noisy, so your transmission, probably around the 15-20 kilometers an hour and higher, is going to go and make all kinds of cool noises. R for race mode. The reverse idler gear is what makes that one reverse. Even if the gear ratios were the exact same here and here, when you have externally toothed gears acting on each other, it reverses the flow of direction. So we're flow in, reversed, flow out, reversed, and you basically get the same as what your input was. To reverse that again, we use an idler gear, and the idler gear does not affect the gear ratio, it just affects the direction of travel. Keep that one in mind. So we were finishing up on first gear. First gear input through to our counter shaft, through the counter shaft. Keep in mind that for the most part, this counter shaft here this is all solid. This gear right here has to be selected. Obviously, our reverse idler would have to be selected. And then on our main shaft here, as well as these teeth on the input, we would have to select which gear we get. Talk about that in another video with what all the components are. So first gear in, and then output is here, and then output through the output shaft or the main shaft. Second gear is going to give you the second most torque multiplication. Go figure. Same path in through the input shaft, down to the counter shaft, goes through the counter shaft, and then up to our second largest gear. And notice that the gear here is a little bit bigger, and out. Third gear, in through the input, down, across, up, and out. Fourth gear, being direct drive, is power flow is just directly through the shafts. This synchro sleeve right here would just get slidden down and locked onto our input shaft. And that gives us our direct drive. Now, fifth gear. Remember what I said on this particular transmission, that fifth gear is a speed multiplication, so you lose torque, but you get more speed. How do you do that? A big gear turning a smaller gear. So the input, once again, through the input shaft, down into the counter shaft, across the counter shaft, and then we have a large gear turning a smaller gear, and then it's output. And then reverse, through the input shaft, down to the counter shaft, through the counter shaft, small gear, turning. Doesn't matter how many teeth are on the input gear. No, it does not, because however many teeth are on here, they're interacting with our drive gear and our driven gear, and I haven't covered those yet. Just hang tight for a sec. So it does not matter if this had 1 teeth, if it had 100 teeth. The gear pitch, obviously the teeth have to match up, so one wouldn't quite work, but for the purposes of the ratios, does not matter how many teeth are on the idler gear, because it has the same interaction. X number of teeth on this interact with the output, the same as it does with the counter shaft. So there's our reverse. Now, I mentioned that the gear ratios, we have a drive gear, we have a driven gear. We have 2 of those. Well, let's run through that and see how that works with our ratios. Now, to explain what the drive is and what the driven is, the drive gear would be the gear that applies power to the driven gear. So it's the one that has the force. It's doing the driving. If we were to separate this all out, our input shaft is being driven by the engine. So this solid shaft attached to these gear teeth right here, they would be the drive gear, and that would make the counter shaft gear the driven gear, because the power is being transferred to the counter shaft. And then the power flows through the counter shaft, and now the counter shaft, because all of these gears are the same piece as the counter shaft, this becomes the drive, and then the output shaft is being driven by the counter shaft. It's being powered by the counter shaft, and then the power flows out. So what does that look like on paper when it comes time to count these gear teeth and figure out what their ratios are? All right, let's take a minute to really quickly hammer through these power flows on paper. This way you can kind of get a different visual of what we just did on the actual transmissions itself, and this should really help you understand exactly what's going on in that power flow. So we have our input shaft on this side, just like we did on the transmission, which makes this our output shaft, and then we have our counter shaft down here. Pretty straightforward. So for first gear, we have our power flow in. And now remember that this is the input shaft. It is separated right here from the rest of the transmission. Let me prove that. Here it is. So you'll see that matches up. That is that piece right there. So from there, our power flows down into our counter shaft and then through our counter shaft. And remember, we in first gear, second gear, third gear, we're looking for torque multiplication. So we expect a small gear to be turning a large gear because that gives you torque at the cost of speed. So these two gears are about the same size, but notice, as I believe I previously stated, that we have a reverse idler that would shift down this way to give us reverse, and these are straight cut teeth. So that'd be my reverse gear, even though the ratio is going to be very, very close or even possibly identical to what first gear is. So to finish flowing through first, we would head that away. For second gear, the input, the output, the counter, still the same. Second gear, power in through the input, down to the counter, and then our second smallest gear, up and out. For third gear, we are still coming in through the input shaft, down to the counter shaft, and then our third smallest gear. Now remember, in this transmission, fourth gear is a 1-to-1 ratio. So that is literally this synchro hub. The sleeve gets slid that way, and it's going to lock the input shaft right here to our output shaft, and power flow is literally straight through the transmission. Fifth gear, input shaft, down to the counter, and this time it goes all the way through. In fifth, we're in overdrive, so we have a big gear turning a small gear to give us extra speed. And it will come out that way. And then for reverse, the reverse idler would be slid by a shift fork that's located right here to come into contact with the counter shaft, and then it would also drive the output shaft. So our power flow would come in, and then it would come down, and then it would go out through those spur cut gears. And that's reverse. And it's really as simple as that. So I hope this helps. Please stay tuned for part 2 of this 3-part video series. Let me know in the comments what else I can do to help you out. Have a good one.